Hur, and let me echo what's already been said by my colleagues that your personal story of being an immigrant, your family immigrants to this country, the way you've contributed to the greatness of this country shows why America is great, the great immigrant story. Thank you for being here, Senator. First question to you is, you're a Republican?
I am, sir.
Does that stop you from a thorough and fair investigation?
I certainly hope not, and I know not.
This story is really proof of the old saying that the cover-up is worse than the crime. President Trump and President Biden handled their classified materials differently, wouldn't you say?
My report includes an assessment of the alleged facts in the pending indictment of former President Trump and a comparison to the facts that we found in this case.
But clearly the handling of these documents was night and day, correct?
Congressman, do you have a specific aspect of the handling of the documents that you have in mind?
Well, you know, President Trump intentionally took classified materials and obstructed justice to ensure that those materials wouldn't be taken from him, and he refused to work with law enforcement. Is that correct?
My report reflects no findings of obstructive conduct on the part of President
Let me ask you
Trump.
another question. President Trump has been indicted in the U.S. District Court of Southern Florida on 40 counts related to his possession of classified documents. Is that correct?
I don't know the exact number of counts, but I know that an indictment is pending in that district.
Mr. Hur, you even wrote that after being given a number of chances to return classified documents and avoid prosecution, President Trump allegedly did oppose. And according to the indictment, he not only refused to return those documents over for many months, but he also obstructed justice by enlisting others to destroy evidence and lie about them. Compare and contrasting to President Trump turned classified documents over to the National Archives and the Department of Justice, and he consented to searching his home and other locations. Wouldn't you say that's night and day when it comes to cooperation with law enforcement?
Congressman, the report does include an analysis and a comparison of the facts that are alleged with respect to former President Trump, and does detail steps of cooperation that the president and his team took with respect to my investigation.
I would say, President Biden, you had his full cooperation in this investigation.
The report includes cooperative steps that the president took.
Would this be a factor in your decision to prosecute?
It was a factor, and I explained it as such in the report, Congressman.
And you stated that the recommendation not to prosecute had nothing to do with the Department of Justice policy not to indict the sitting president. Is that correct?
Well, the report says that even if it were not current Department of Justice policy that a sitting president may not be indicted on federal crimes, I would reach the same conclusion, that criminal charges are not warranted.
Mr. Hur, have you set new precedent here today?
To the extent that the Department of Justice makes enforcement decisions or non-enforcement decisions in particular cases, those are precedents, those are events that future prosecutors do look to in an endeavor to make sure that federal law is applied consistently over time.
Mr. Hur, I'd say, based on your education and your career experience, you're a very, very competent prosecutor, a very, very well-prepared attorney. I'm going to ask you one more time. Does the fact that you're a Republican, does that stop you from a thorough and fair investigation?
No, partisan politics had nothing to do with the work that I did or the report that I wrote or the decision that I reached.
Thank you very much for being here. And Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman.